I mean, for me, it's if you abstract it beyond the news business, it's just information and knowledge I'm really passionate about, and it's actually text that I'm trying to manipulate language. I was a student, and students read a lot and consume a lot of information, so actually it's very relevant to what I was doing, simply because of the fact that when I was, for example, researching for like Google to find out about history or whatever, I was thinking about these problem solving because of the fact that as a student you have to consume so much information. So when you say it's news industry, it's a bit odd, but then when you kind of look at it from a different context and go sort of about text and information, it does make a lot of sense why kind of people my age have an interest in this. The number for me is an important. What's important is the experience of knowing it's finite, because when you're confronted with something infinite, it's such friction to want to open the app because you know there's just going to be this deluge of content and it's just going to be a mess and it's hard to go through. Whereas what's nice about finite content and experience is you know it's digestible. You know you'll be able to go through it in 10 seconds and move on. There's also this cadence in the sense that there's reliability in that we're not going to add 100 stories. You know what you're going to expect when you come into the app. You're going to see the 8 or 9 and that's it. So this kind of consistent experience hopefully drives daily habits, which then hopefully drives users to Yahoo. And Marissa has spoken about daily habits being Yahoo, right? That's the pitch for Yahoo. So I think it's very relevant. It's hard because we want quality to be precise, 100%, not 99. Because with 99%, you can't get reliability in the product because people won't trust you. They need to kind of do fact checking against other sources, and it's just messy. So we were also fortunate in being finite that there's no point artificially constraining ourselves to being a computer when, because it's finite, we could have editors that help out. So economically, it made sense to have people involved. And what's also nice about the product is because we rely on the humans to kind of curate and select the stories. That's difficult. That's very hard as a computer problem. However, the actual synthesis of the content and creating the atoms and the summary, that can be done algorithmically. And that's based on the summary technology that we had. Wow. I think the latter. Because if you solve the first problem, then you've solved what this author called Ray Kurzweil called the singularity. So it's basically the moment in which human beings and computing intelligence is kind of equal, right? And at that moment, that means you've unlocked the world to so many other things. Because if a computer can intelligently, there's this question of what's intelligence, but if a computer can it literally, not like through smoke and mirrors, but genuinely create an editorial piece that's just as good as human beings, it's actually solving something called the Turing test, which was this famous test to see if, and that would then solve AI and then all kinds of stuff would happen. So that's quite unlikely, I think, to happen in the short term. I think it's going to be symbiotic, so there's going to be both parties involved for a long time, because actually, if you think about, it's not technology in the traditional sense, but journalists have always used a pen and paper, which is a form of technology. In the past it was, and then the printing press and Gutenberg, then you kind of fast forward to television and radio. So journalists have always had to utilize technology for hundreds of years. The form has changed, the acceleration has changed, but I think it's never been 100. In fact, the last time it was not technology is oral storytelling, back in the Greek times and ancient times, but we've evolved from that thousands of years ago. So that's probably the last moment in which there was no technology. It's a refreshing model, just because of the fact that we looked at usage patterns on the app, and people like to read in the morning when they're on a morning commute, and then on the evening when they're after work coming home. So there were natural spikes anyway, peaks. And then also I think it's really hard to make something finite if it's constantly updating, because it's only an illusion that it's finite. But if you kind of stretched it out for all of the updates during the day, it'd become very long. And so you have to have some kind of constraint to allow for finiteness. focus of this product isn't to monetize. Clearly, there's a lot of opportunities, and when the time comes, we will. Right now, we want to just see what works with users. We're experimenting with so many different ideas here. Some might not work, and so there's no point trying to monetize a product that's unproven. So first step is prove the product, prove the use case, see engaged active users, and then on top of that, then supplementary build the advertising and stuff. Don't let it ruin the experience. It's very positive. Morale's very high. Clearly, Marissa's inspired a culture in the company which is very entrepreneurial. There's a lot of creation and creativity, which is very important that might not have been there. There's a lot more coordination in the mobile team now. It's a big team, hundreds of employees, and we're all moving towards focusing on creating excellent, exemplary, like, we're not settling for second best in the experiences, so the focus is on just very high quality and awesome stuff. And I think the whole company, I mean, Marissa joined a long time before I did, right? I only joined in March. She was there from June the previous year, but it's clear to see that the people she's attracting to the company are the best in the industry in terms of the talent. So that's also, it's a snowball effect, right? Because the more good people come, the better the products, and the more good people come because of that, and it evolves. My understanding is a lot of people have been brought into the company. For example, the mobile team, when 2 years ago was like non-existent in comparison to what it is today. So that's a lot of hiring. So what I would maybe say is there's a realignment in strategy. So if there are layoffs, it's because we want to add more people in other divisions which are more relevant to the company. So the mobile team, for example, has grown and expanded very quickly because we realize how important it is to be mobile first. And it's exciting to see what's coming out of the company. There is a cohesiveness because we're all working on the same ideas, which is redefining news and information. It's a goal. There's a goal, right? It's like make the best content experience, whether it be the digital magazines on the desktop, Yahoo News Digest, the Yahoo app, the personalization engine on the homepage. It's all aligned with the common goal. I also think it's good to have a bit of this kind of people coming from unique backgrounds and perspectives, because otherwise you kind of, I think everyone, the psyche begins to evolve around just one kind of thought process or one idea. And actually the differentiation and having people from different backgrounds who can say different things is crucial to when you want to innovate. The best innovation comes from interdisciplinary work, when people from all kinds of backgrounds kind of come together. I think, well, clearly it's to make money. I mean, clearly, yeah, clearly.
Duh.
Right, exactly. So the question is, how do you facilitate that? And the way you facilitate that is through innovative products that steal users from other services, because we want the users. And so the only way you can do that is by coming up with exceptionally good apps or products and trying things, because we need to persuade people to come back. Do you know what I mean? Like, because people might have been on Yahoo 10 years ago, they might have left. But we're very aware of the fact that we need to create better experiences that exist out there. So that's the goal right now, is building. We're building things. We're excited to try a lot of different things, experiment because we need to. And when we find the thing that works, scale very quickly to accommodate that.
Do you really believe that there is money in journalism?
Well, that's a hard question, because there's always contentious debates and everything. I don't know. My answer is I don't know. My answer is also I don't worry about that stuff. My job is to build product. That's what I enjoy, right? That's my passion. Clearly, making money is important, but there's a whole bunch of other teams at Yahoo who do that, and other people in the industry. What I like to do is come up with ideas. I'm a technologist at heart. That's what I enjoy, and so my passion's in the algorithm, the design, the product, the use case, and then what we can do on top of that in terms of making money, that's a bonus. It's a good perspective. Like, that's a really good way of putting it. It's like, when do we hit the ground?
Yeah.
And then be able to, and the answer is I don't think we ever will hit a ground. It's always going to be evolving, because it just naturally, it's like acceleration in physics. It's like as things accelerate, in order to catch up with it, you need to be speeding quicker than the thing that's accelerating. But that's not possible, because technology accelerates at an exponential rate.
So
And
we're
so,
doomed.
so we're not doomed. We just have to accept that and then evolve to be, I think, a lot more quick and I don't. Although it's evolving, like cutting edge is always evolving. That might not necessarily when news needs to be. But if you think about wearables, that's going to come up with a whole new range of things that's exciting. How does news and information work in an interface where you're wearing something or it's audio or what? So there's always going to be innovation. It's exciting.
We're hamsters.
Wow. No, I don't think so. I think we're pioneers. That's how I would put it. Like the people in the industry today are affecting change more than ever before at a quicker rate. It's really exciting to be able to just watch that, not even do it, but just spectate and see how people are doing that. Maybe if it doesn't slow down, then that's just going to be the new way of things. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to predict. It depends how you look at it, right? Running can be fun. Just don't get too tired.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.